What's good, everybody? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. Today, we're going to be talking about the madness, and question for today's comment section, if you choose to answer it, is how do you feel about the madness on Netflix? Because, in my opinion, I feel like the madness was all right, but it could have been good or pretty damn good if it had landed better towards the end of that season. So we're talking full spoilers here. So if you haven't seen it, obviously go check that out and then come back and see if you want to answer that question. Drop into the comment section, answer that question. I will converse with you. But the thought about the madness is that it started really well, and it was really intriguing with the idea of a person being framed for a murder with no idea as to why. But the more and more we got into the themes of the show and what the show is really about and what the show really wanted to highlight and focus on, I felt less and less engaged. By the time you get to the final episode, I feel as though our character has gone through a large amount of questionable decisions that I don't feel like anybody can truly justify. I think that finale episode has a lot to do with my overall feelings about the show, because it felt as though they wrapped up everything in like 5 minutes, but then they proceeded to drag things out with things that I didn't feel like should be an issue for the characters at that point. Like the conflict with the son, Demetrius, and Munchie. It's like, why is there a conflict here? Like, there was never a clear reason as to why the son is upset. He just is, and is just doing stupid teenage things for the sake of doing it, for the sake of like dragging the show along. It feels as though we got a happy ending for our main character, but it feels a little bit undeserved because it doesn't seem as though he did everything to make things work the way they worked out for him. You had so many other players involved that helped get things to the point where he could truly be free and be with his family and enjoy his life. And I just feel like it's a bit of a ball drop because you had people flip-flopping to make decisions to help out our main character when you didn't necessarily need that from those people. You have so many things that went on in the season. I think specifically to our main character Munchie, who had the idea of getting on a plane and leaving, but then not getting on the plane, but then getting arrested and then getting released. And it's like all this stuff is happening, and it feels like it's just happening to make the show go, when you could have real consequences play out in a show that feels very realistic. I also feel like the writers of this show really had a point to prove and like something to say about the power and the extent of media, like the influence of media in our world today. But I think it's a slightly bit misguided message, because I don't think that the media is nearly as powerful as they are portrayed in this show. I get the point of the title, and it was really driven home towards the end of the season and in that final episode, but I just don't feel like the show actually made the statements that it set out to make. And I think being so embroiled in topics that are real life topics probably turn a lot of audience members off, because I don't hear a lot of positive feedback or a lot of positive buzz about this show online, as well as I just don't hear people clamoring for it when it is like one of the hottest actors in Hollywood. We have a black centric show that's not pulling punches about being a black centric show. A lot of things going for it, but it just didn't get the buzz. And I think that's because of the subject matter, being, with racism and people being online and like little radicalized groups and politics. And I think that turned a lot of real life viewers off. But those are my thoughts on it. Again, I think it was all right. I enjoyed it for the most part. But when you got to the end, I feel like they didn't stick the landing, and it really brought the show down a tier. But let me know your thoughts if you choose to do so in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this far. I thank you if you watched this far. And that's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.